in the omnipotent view of our cruel and unusual God. This is take two. But for you, this is the first time you're watching this. So without further ado, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first of possibly many Fallout tier lists. And when I say possibly many, I don't mean doing the games over and over and over, unless I really change my mind. No, I mean, I could do tier lists on the characters, the weapons, things like that. I am so Fallout. I am John Fallout. I have two Vault Boy things right here. I have a Power Armor thing. I have a Brotherhood of Steel flag in the background. I have a Liberty Prime Funko Pop all the way back there. My point is, I am very qualified to talk about this topic. I have been fucking obsessed with this to the point where an autistic kid is obsessed with trains. I am more than qualified to talk about these games. Now, without with that being said, I will clarify now that there are some of these games that I haven't played through their entirety or at all, and that is, I had played two, but I haven't gotten past the beginning. I haven't touched Tactics, and I haven't touched Brotherhood of Steel. So without further ado, we're moving Brotherhood of Steel to where it belongs, because I think everyone can just agree that it is the worst. It's not even Fallout. It doesn't count. Um, so what is this? It's just a tier list of the games. I'm bored. I wanted something to do. I'm unemployed right now, so I figure I might as well kind of get started going on this. Because, it's just a little thing. Make me feel productive. You get some kick out of it, hopefully. I don't know. Let's just have some fun with this. So, I think we should go in order for this, and I've taken the time to organize the games on the bottom here, and I'm gonna follow that in order. And yes, I have played Fallout 1, surprisingly. So, with that being said, why don't we start off with this? Now, Fallout 1. An interesting one. Obviously, it's the first one. So it sets the tone for the entire franchise going forward and for the next two games, at least with the regard that it's top down, turn based, very D&D inspired, very tabletop game inspired, and some people like it, some people don't. But I think even with tastes aside, there are a lot of merits that have Fallout 1 really rise and shine. And as a role playing game, it 100% succeeds it more than enough. Like, your special points actually have a huge influence on your, like, I don't know, just your interactions day to day in the wasteland. Like, if you're stupid enough, like, if your intelligence is low enough, your dialogue options will all be and like not even be intelligible to anything aside from like other low level life forms like super mutants. But some people really can't get past the top down thing, so they might be quick to put this in something like C or B. But I think Fallout 1 is absolutely deserving of A because it just captures that Fallout feels so well. It sets up the whole franchise, and there's really a lot that we can lend credibility to when it comes to this game. It's just really well made all around, and it's a great starting point to the franchise. So I think A tier for Fallout 1 is absolutely fair. Now, this next one is going to be a little tricky. I want to put Fallout 2 here, but I know quite a bit about the lore and the main story, the characters, and how it's written. And from what I've heard everyone say, Fallout 2 is just an absolutely worthy successor to Fallout 1 in every possible way. The weapons are better, the characters are more diverse, the locations build off of what was set up in Fallout 1, and it maintains that same sense of medieval fantasy. Like, and I say that with air quotes because you could consider it a medieval fantasy with the regards of the world because you're a peasant chosen one trying to go out and save your village from the overlords of the land. And it's very feudal in nature. If you go around, you look at the locations, and it just, like I said, it does a great job of taking the torch that Fallout 1 led and running with it. So, despite the fact that I haven't played a whole lot of Fallout 2, I've seen and heard nothing but critical acclaim and praise. And from what I've seen, it's safe to say Fallout 2 is easy S tier. Out of all of the games, it has my personal favorite storyline and well, some of the most interesting concepts. Like, I'm a huge fan of the whole mechanic where you get a car and you drive around from location to location because you barely see that in the other games, with exception to Tactics, I believe. Tactics is the one that I'm just gonna get out of the way. I'm gonna put it here. I've heard mixed things about Tactics. Some people really enjoy it, but some people don't like what it does for the lore, which is why Tactics is considered semi-canon. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying that with air quotes. It doesn't really need air quotes. Um, but the point I'm trying to make here is Tactics is fun to play. But the lore is definitely problematic. Like, the Brotherhood of Steel just basically becomes the Avengers in Tactics. They get Humvees with machine guns mounted to them, and tons of other technology that I probably can't even guess. But I also really do enjoy the nature that, like, their Brotherhood becomes more tolerant and trying to help people in the wasteland rather than just be a techno frat bro cult, essentially. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Brotherhood, but like, as I get older, it becomes harder and harder to defend them. You know what I mean? Like, so it's nice to see that in Tactics they have like genuine, decent people that really want to help out. Um, and you do see that again in 3, so it's kind of cool. So I'm putting Tactics in this don't know enough about tab. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means I don't know enough about it to fairly judge it. Like Fallout 2, I've played at least a little bit of it. I played the whole intro. I played a few hours of it, and I've seen so much about it online. Whereas Tactics, I've barely seen anything. But I do want to play it eventually, and I would revisit the tier list once I fully played 2 in Tactics. Absolutely 100%. But for now, we're just leaving that there. And yes, don't come at me in the comments if you don't like Fallout 2 being an S. I am keeping it there for now, at least until I play it. So, this next one, Fallout 3. This may be a bit controversial, but I'm going to put it in B tier. I played Fallout 3 after I played Fallout 4, and I think that's important to note. Um, Fallout 3 was definitely a bit of a risky entry to the franchise because it was Bethesda's first Fallout game, and also it was the first actual 3D FPS Fallout game. So there was a huge departure from what the franchise already knew and had nailed down so well. Maybe not after Brotherhood of Steel, but we don't talk about Brotherhood of Steel. It doesn't exist. No idea what you're talking about. Um, but 3, for me, the main detractor is the fact that this storyline just feels way too linear. Don't get me wrong. I like the story, I like the characters, I like the setting, but I just can't get around the fact that the main story just feels so like it's just very like you feel railroaded towards like a certain option. Like, it's tough. So like putting it at B is definitely a tough choice, but I think compared to where I'm gonna put some of the other ones on this list, I think B is fair, very fair. Um, and the loophole is good. The companions are very solid. Some the DLC are very strong. I think the area where Fallout 3 shines the most is the DLC, and that's also very limited knowledge. I beat Fallout 3. I started Mothership Zeta, and embarrassingly enough, yes, you can raise your pitchforks and raise your torches at me, but I have not actually played most of the DLC for Fallout 3. I haven't finished Mothership Zeta, and I haven't touched any of the other ones. So, if I'm wrong about putting it in B, once I actually go back and replay the game and I'd redo the DLC, I will gladly change it if I feel that my opinion on it has changed. But for now, I feel like B is a strong tier. It can hold its own, but it doesn't really stand up to like some of the other ones. Now, I wonder where this next one's gonna go. I think we all know. I mean, I'm putting New Vegas above Fallout 2 only because I've played much more of New Vegas, so I feel like it's more fair for me to put it there. But like I said with Fallout 3, this rating can change once I go back and replay a lot of these games, like specifically Fallout 2. Once I go back and actually play that for the first time, my opinion on that could drastically change. I'm not locking this in permanently. This is just for now, just something for fun. Just we'll see, we'll see. But like the reason I'm putting New Vegas in S tier is not mob mentality. I genuinely do believe it is one of, if not the best of the games, at least what I've played. Because The loot pool is fantastic. I love the variety of armors and weapons that you can find in this game. The Mojave Wasteland is an amazing setting. They really, really nail it. And that West Coast Fallout feel, it just oozes with atmosphere. It's awesome. Also, I think New Vegas just has the best DLCs out of all of the Fallout games, hands down. I've played every single one of New Vegas's DLCs and beat them, except for Dead Money. Sorry, not Dead Money. Lonesome Road. I beat all of them except for Lonesome Road, which I did not start, and I've heard it's the best one. Um, and I also didn't beat New Vegas. I got all the way up to the Hoover Dam fight, but I was like, oh, damn, this is a point of no return. I want to do all the DLCs first. And then I did every single DLC except for Lonesome Road, so I never did Lonesome Road or the Hoover Dam fight, but I did everything else in the game. A lot of other stuff. So, like, I just have such a love for New Vegas. I'm really itching to come back to it, do a modded playthrough after I'm done with Elden Ring DLC. I'm gonna just mod the hell out of New Vegas, come back to it, just have a great time, and I'm sure my love for it will increase only even further. But it is tempting to kind of put it in A because I'm tired of people being like, "Oh, New Vegas is the best game ever made." Like, it's really strong, but like, if you try to cram that opinion down the throats of people who don't necessarily like it the most, you're not gonna have a good time, and you're not gonna make friends with those people. I'm just saying, like, New Vegas fans, we get it. The game is good. Please just calm down. Put down the pitchforks. So this is where things are gonna get a little bit spicy. Fallout 4 was my first game. My first out of all of the Fallout games. I really, really love Fallout 4. I have such a soft spot in my heart for it, and I'm replaying it for the next gen update. I'm replaying it now, and I'm almost done with the game. I'm starting the DLCs. I think it's a fun time, but I'm putting it in B tier above Fallout 3. The reason I'm putting it above Fallout 3 and not below it is I honestly have to mainly narrow it down to the fact that Fallout 3's DLCs are better from what I know about them. Because Fallout 4's DLCs, you only have two that are like actual significant content expansions, which is Far Harbor, which is objectively one of the best things that the game has, like one of the best DLCs to ever touch Fallout. Far Harbor is just fantastic. And Nuka World is fun to explore, but I've never done the Raiders side because I don't swing like that. Um, but the reason I'm putting, like, even though three's DLCs are just vastly better to four, I think four is better in the regard of the world and the gunplay. I really, really do enjoy it. And also there's some unique charm to having that voiced protagonist. A lot of people don't like it. Myself included, I definitely have a bone to pick with the fact that there's only four dialogue options. But it's one of those things where I'm at this point where it's just kind of like, oh, Bethesda, you're so funny, giving us like yes, no, more information, sarcastic. It's like, I mean, again, I grew up on Fallout 4. I've been playing this since it came out, and I was there when all the DLCs came out. It has a very soft spot in my heart, a special place in my soul. Um, I can admit that 3 is definitely better than it in a lot of ways, but the main reason I'm putting 4 above 3 is the map is just so much nicer to explore, at least in my opinion. Like, three's metros are definitely really cool, but like I get so bored of three's map after a certain point. It's the same color gradient, the same capital wasteland. It's like, again, to reiterate the point that I said earlier, this can change. It's been a long time since I replayed 3. I've played 4 so many more times than I played 3. Like, once I've revisited all of these games at some point down the line, maybe when Fallout Season 2 comes out, or later this summer, who knows? Um, I might severely change my opinion on a lot of these things on this list, but for now, Fallout 4 is going in B tier above Fallout 3. This is where I'm going to piss some people off. I'm putting 76 in A tier right behind Fallout 1. Now, put the guns down. Put down the rope. I can explain myself here. 76 has the best map, hands fucking down. It has the best biome diversity. It has the most gorgeous map, in my opinion. It has one of the best, if not the best, loot pool for guns, armors, anything in any Fallout game. And you can play it with your friends. If you were asking me to compare 76 and 4, I think 76 beats 4 in every category, except for the fact that if you're considering four with mods, it's just probably easily S tier, but that would be unfair. If we were looking at modded versions of the game, then yeah, four would go in S. Just because of how many mods there are and how good those mods are. And three would probably go in A tier. I don't know enough about three mods, but I know New Vegas mods are slightly better. Well, maybe a lot better, but what do I know? I have only modded four out of all of the games. But we're considering them vanilla for the purposes of this list because I don't know anything about modding the older games, and I am scared to even touch that. But 76, I will die on this hill. I've been playing it since its beta, since its launch, so I'm definitely very qualified to criticize it where it lacks. It definitely lacks in the role playing department and the NPC department. I think the dialogue is so mid. It's so generic, but it's like I don't know, man. Like the gameplay of 76 is the most fun out of all of them. I really, really do think strongly the camp building is fantastic. I love it. It takes exactly what Fort did so well with settlements, and it improves upon a lot of the flaws that it had. I really, really do enjoy it. And the fact that the game has just come such a long way, especially when we're getting a huge map expand. Like we're getting a huge update soon, in like this month, literally with the whole Shindo National Park update. They're just getting even more content. It's just gonna get even better. And again, you can play it with your friends. It's the best gameplay wise, and it's the best to play with friends because you can't play any of the other ones with friends. And those are not the only two reasons I'm putting it in A. Let me reiterate this. I really, really have such a fucking fun time going around the map, just exploring and just being like, yeah, you see that city all the way over there in the distance? You can go over there. You can kill shit over there. You can see all that. I mean, I know that's not necessarily the best argument. Oh, you can see that thing over there. You could go do stuff over there. Nobody likes to hear that, but like, just having this giant map that you can walk around with vastly different biomes and like all have a different look feel to them and like different enemies, different loot, things like that. I love it. It just oozes with diversity. There's tons of different enemies, tons of different weapons, armor, things like that. Plasma weapons actually have a heavy variant in this game compared to 4. And that's one of my favorite parts of it. Plasma weapons and gas weapons have heavy variants. Um, I'm such a fan of 76's gameplay, and that's the main reason I'm putting it in A. Just below Fallout 1, though. It's not better than Fallout 1 because the role playing and the dialogue and the immersion just falls off so severely. The gameplay carries, I will say. But again, it's a multiplayer game. It's not focused on dialogue. It's not focused on quest doing, but honestly, I don't know. I just really have such a good time with 76. I think it has come a long, long, long way since its very rough launch. But, and I can give them credit where credit is due. They put a lot of work and elbow grease into this. So, one of the things that I say a lot when I come to this franchise that I love so much is I don't believe there are any bad Fallout games because this does not exist. This is not real. This is a fabrication of your mind. This is not even here on my screen. I don't know what you're talking about. If you talk about Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, it just is a fabrication. It's not real. Anyway, there are no bad Fallout games. In my eye, there are no bad Fallout games. All of them you can find some sense of enjoyment and entertainment out of, whether it be the gameplay, the base building, the combat, the dialogue, the role playing, the immersion. Every single one has something that it does the best. Like, some things definitely do a lot of things better than some of the other ones, which is why there's a difference in tiers here, but I don't believe any of them are bad. Like, you can definitely point out flaws, but they each have something going for them, and I have a love for all of these games uniquely in their own way. And I think it's unfair to put some of these down further at lower tiers because of biases over like, oh, this is my gameplay bias. I don't like it when games are like this, and this. I think each of these has something that goes for them that makes them shine. And people are drawn to these games for all sorts of different reasons. And there's a reason why this community is so, how do I put this? There's a reason this community is so fiercely loyal to the games that they like. Like, there are people that will defend Fallout 2 to death and say that it is the best, no question, no contest, even far above New Vegas. They love Fallout 2 for their reasons, and I'm sure those reasons are 100% valid. And once I play it, maybe I'll change my ranking. Maybe I'll put Fallout 2 above New Vegas. Who knows? But, like, I love this franchise so much. I've been playing it for so many years, for such a long time, and the show has just re-sparked a lot of that passion that I had when I was first getting into it and learning about everything. So I'm really happy I get to have the time to make things like this and just kind of put this out there. Um, and I would definitely like to do some more of this content. Sorry, jump scare with the next thing I was going to say. Anyway, if you do want to see more of this type of content and you're just stumbling across this video with like maybe 5 views in your recommended tab, thank you for checking me out. God bless. Appreciate you. You have a wonderful day. And leave a like, maybe that would be very appreciated, and also comment on like what kinds of future content you'd like to see, whether it's tier lists of maybe weapons in the games or maybe companions, something like that. I love talking about these games. I can talk about them for hours, so I would be more than happy to make videos like this. So, thanks for stopping by, y'all. This is my Fallout tier list. Definitely not final. This can totally change, as I mentioned maybe 7 times. But anyway, thanks for stopping on by, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care.